Hi, it's Joanne here again, and if this is your first time along to the channel, then welcome. And if you're returning, then welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. And I really hope you're enjoying the content of my videos. So in today's video, I'd like to talk to you a little about symbols in our mediumship and psychic work. Symbols are something that the spirit world use with mediums all the time, and something that our higher self may also present to us when we're working on a psychic link. And I think the reason that we often find symbols coming to our mind is because that's the easiest way sometimes for the spirit world to get the message across. Because often they are trying in vain to impress things upon us through all of our senses. It's usually not just through one sense, but through all of them. And the spirits have to filter down through all the layers of your emotional stuff and through all the layers of your experience in your own life to try and get the message to their loved one. And often that's a tricky task for the spirit world because, most of us of a certain age are walking around with years and years of personal experience. And so when the spirit world wants to get a message across to a loved one, it's often difficult for them to bypass your assumptions through your own experiences to get the message over. So to explain that in a bit more depth, what I mean is, for example, say the spirit world wanted to impress a black and white cat on me as the medium and get that message across to their loved one. The only personal experience that I have of a cat is of a ginger Tom that lived with me for 6 months, and I loved that cat. But other than that, I have no experience whatsoever of cats. Cats were not animals I grew up with, and not animals that I ever paid any attention to prior to me meeting this ginger Tom cat. So if the spirit world were there and they had a black and white cat that they wanted to impress upon me, then they would have to filter down through the layers of my knowledge and experience and try and impress that cat on me. And if they were to bring the ginger Tom cat to my mind, then that would be inaccurate because the recipient would be expecting to hear about a black and white cat. So I think the spirit world are divinely intelligent and clever, and they know exactly what to do for the best in order to get their message across. So this actually happened to me one day. An old man came to me for a reading, and when he walked in through my front door, my first thought was that he was grieving. That was the first thing I thought, and I thought he was grieving for his wife. However, he never told me anything, obviously. And so we went into the dining room and sat down at the table. And I began my usual process of asking the spirit world to draw close. And I expected his wife to come into my mind. But no, she didn't. The first thing that came into my mind was the Postman Pat theme tune. So this was a symbol that the spirit world were impressing upon me. And I said to my guides and my loved ones in spirit who work with me, why am I hearing Postman Pat? And of course the old man was sitting expectantly looking at me, waiting for me to tell him something. And this dialogue's going on in my mind, and I'm saying to spirit, why have I got the Postman Pat theme tune in my mind? So at that point, I recognised that there were three possibilities for me. It could be that the spirit who was trying to come through worked for the Royal Mail, or they could be telling me perhaps that the old man who had come for the reading used to be a postman. Or the spirit world might have been trying to impress the name Patrick or Patricia upon me. But usually when spirit do that, they would show me Ireland or my own uncle whose name was Patrick. So I'm thinking, right, it's probably not the name Pat or Patricia. So I'm also thinking to myself and saying to my guides, well, what else could it be? Could be a black and white cat, or it could be the name Jess. So I asked my guides, I said, please show me why you're showing me this. And then they magnified the image of Postman Pat's cat, Jess. So I looked at the old man and I said to him, the first thing I've got here is a black and white cat called Jess. And he started to cry. And he said to me, that was my cat, she just died 3 months ago. So I said, that's lovely, don't tell me anymore. And I went back to the spirit world and I said to the cat in my mind, what would you like to impress upon me? And he gave me a few things about his personality, the cat, and what sort of food the old man used to feed him. And then all of a sudden I could begin to see the cat in my mind's eye. I could see his legs, I could see his fur, and I had an image of a lady's legs standing beside the cat. So the cat then brought the wife with him, and it turned out or with her rather, I think the cat's name was Jess. The cat brought the lady with her, and it turned out that they'd only died within weeks of each other. So the old man had lost both his wife and the cat. So that is a classic example of the spirit world using symbols in mediumship. And I remember a student of mine a long time ago had sat in circle previously with a different teacher. And this other teacher had taught her students all of her symbols. So when this student then came to me, if she had a symbol popping up, she would interpret it as she'd been told by her previous teacher. And often she would get it wrong, and she was so frustrated. And she would say to me, why is it that sometimes it's right and most of the time it's wrong? And I said to her, what we need to realise is that the spirit world will use symbols, which might mean one thing one time and one thing another time. But they use symbolism and symbology because it's stored within our mental space. So that theme tune was ingrained in my brain. Those images of Postman Pat were ingrained in my brain from childhood. So it was easy for the spirit world to use that and bring it to my attention. But as I say, on this occasion it was the cat. On another occasion, that symbol might mean the Royal Mail, and it has done before. I remember when I first met my husband, I had that very same thing, that same symbol. But at that particular time, I was getting a connection to someone who worked for the Royal Mail. And it turned out his mother was a postmistress. So it can be a different meaning each time. Another classic one is Pavarotti. He might come into your mind, whether you see an image of him in your mind or whether you hear Nessun Dorma. And so you must stop and say to yourself, well, what could that mean? It could mean a fat Italian man. It could mean Italian food. It could mean the World Cup. It could mean none shall sleep, which is what Nessun Dorma translates as. So it could mean insomnia. It could mean the song literally has some meaning, or Italy literally has some meaning. And how do you figure out what it means each time? Well, this is where your relationship with guides and ancestors is essential. I will ask my guide each time a symbol is presented to me. If I know that that symbol could mean lots of different things to me, I'll ask the guide to draw my attention to the specific thing. And I find that that really helps me to accurately interpret the symbol. So remember, symbols never mean one thing. They could mean a load of different things. And it's important to bear that in mind. And a tutor said to me a long time ago in the early stages of my development, just tell the spirit world you don't want symbols. Tell the spirit world that you just want them to tell you. And way back then, I thought she was right in what she was saying. But further down the line, I've come to realise that symbolism is an essential tool within your mediumship and psychic work. The spirit world need to use that symbolism to get the message across, because often you might not necessarily be hearing clairaudiently what they're telling you or seeing clairvoyantly what they're showing you. And so they might have to bring a symbol into your mind as a thought, claircognizantly, in order for you to just know what it is they're trying to say. So I hope that makes some sense. I will do a series of videos soon on our clairs, our senses, and how the spirit world use the different senses at different times to work with us, but that will be in a series of later videos. So if you liked this video on symbols today, please hit the like button, please share with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get a notification the next time I post some new content. So thanks once again for tuning in. I hope this video today is of some help for you as you work your way through the world of mediumship and psychic development. And I really hope it does help you to interpret those symbols in an easier way so that your mediumship can be more accurate. So thanks again for tuning in, and I really, really do hope that I'll see you again in the next video. So take care. God bless.